The deliberations on the 6.793 trillion peso proposed national budget for 2026 formally begins as the House of Representatives kicks off discussions amid calls for greater transparency on the budget-making process. The House Committee on Appropriations met on Monday, August 18 to hear the briefing from the Development Budget Coordination Committee. This is composed of the Department of Budget and Management, the Department of Finance, the Department of Economy, Planning and Development, and the Office of the President. The Development Budget Coordination Committee is quizzed about how they formulated the National Expenditures Program. The committee is also asked about the state of the country's finances, including its funding sources. In his speech, House Speaker Martin Romualdez says the chamber has opened its doors wider than ever before in a bid for transparency in the budget.
We've ended the practice of the small committee. We welcome civil society observers because the Filipino people deserve full transparency in how their hard-earned money is planned, allocated, and spent. Kapag malinaw ang proseso, malinaw din ang tiwala. At kapag may tiwala ang taong bayan, may lakas ang pamahalaan. Transparency is not an option. It is a cornerstone of democratic governance.
Romualdez vows that the House will scrutinize the 2026 National Expenditure Program thoroughly.
To our partners in the executive branch, allow me to be clear. We will scrutinize, we will question, we will deliberate thoroughly. But we do so not as adversaries, but as allies, united by a shared purpose.
On the other hand, House Appropriations Committee Chair Micaela Swansing commits to bring back Filipinos at the center of the budget-making process.
Our commitment is firm. In this budget and in the years to come, we are bringing the Filipino back in the center of the budget process where you rightfully belong. Ang bawat piso ng budget na ito ay galing sa dugo at pawis ng mga Pilipino. Kaya magiging masusi po ang deliberasyon ng inyong Kongreso sa mga darating na buwan upang siguraduhin na ang bawat piso ay mailalaan para sa ikabubuti ng ating mga kababayan.
The Department of Budget and Management handed over the 2026 National Expenditure Program to the House of Representatives on August 13. House committee hearings on the 2026 budget are scheduled to run until September 16. The Office of Senator Robin Padilla confirms the resignation of Nadia Montenegro as Political Affairs Officer. In a statement on Monday, August 18, Padilla's Chief of Staff, Attorney Rudolph Philip Jurado, says their office received Montenegro's written explanation and letter of resignation. In a letter to Jurado dated August 15, Montenegro says she stepped down for the sake of her mental health and the welfare of her children. She also denies being the senator's staff member who allegedly smoked marijuana inside the Senate building. An incident report filed by a Senate security officer cited 2 alleged instances of an unusual scent reportedly coming from the ladies' comfort room near the senator's extension offices. One incident occurred on August 12 when Montenegro was allegedly the only person in the area. In her letter, Montenegro denies reports that personnel of the Office of the Sergeant-at-Arms went to Padilla's office and found her in the restroom. She also denied having been asked about the alleged smell of marijuana coming from the restroom of their office. However, Montenegro admits using the comfort room for persons with disabilities on August 12, but not the ladies' restroom, where the unusual odor allegedly came from. Montenegro argues that if the alleged marijuana scent came from the ladies' comfort room, then it should not be attributed to her. Although the incident report was addressed only to the Office of the Sergeant-at-Arms, Montenegro laments how it spread on social media. She believes she was crucified in the eyes of the public without due process. She says even her children became the subject of ridicule due to the incident. Even if she is later found innocent, Montenegro says the damage has already been done. Montenegro says the stigma she and her children faced will never be erased. She clarifies that her resignation is not an admission of guilt, but a demonstration of her respect for the Senate and Padilla's office. In light of the reported use of marijuana in the Senate, Senator Sen Zubiri says he underwent drug testing, hoping that his colleagues will follow his lead and promote a drug-free Senate. In an ambush interview on Monday, August 18, Zubiri says he mandated all 35 members of his staff to undergo the drug test.
Sabi ko, lead by example, dami nagsasabi na may nagdodroga dito sa Senado, kaya sabi ko, dapat ako at staff ko ang unang magpa-test para sa pinagbabawal na gamot. Para sa ganun, baka maengganyo din ang ating mga kasamahan dahil ang gusto rin po natin magkaroon ng drug-free Senate, right? So, yung ginawa ko pong testing today, in coordination with the Senate Medical Bureau, ito po yung kanilang accredited laboratory for drug tests. And yung urine samples po ito para sa 5 klaseng pinagbabawal na gamot, which is shabu, marijuana, cocaine, ecstasy, tsaka yung opium.
As the principal author of the Dangerous Drugs Law when he was still in Congress, Zubiri says it's been his advocacy to undergo an annual drug test. He says his colleagues in the minority bloc will also undergo the test and ask their staff to do the same. These are Senate Minority Leader Tito Soto and Senator Loren Legarda. Zubiri calls on his other colleagues to also undergo a drug test.
Pag wala naman kayong tinatago, bakit matatakot po kayo mag-drug test? Kaya I am encouraging, in-encourage ko po ang lahat ng mga senador at kanilang mga opisina na magpa-drug test na. Para sa ganun ay talagang mawawala ng duda na mga nagdudurog dito sa ating Senado.
Zubiri says due process will still be observed if a Senate staff member or a senator themselves tests positive for drug use. Nadia Montenegro was previously named in an incident report on the alleged use of marijuana inside a Senate building in Pasay City. The report cites an unusual odor coming from the ladies' comfort room near the senator's extension offices. Montenegro has resigned from Senator Robin Padilla's office. However, she denies being the staff member who allegedly smoked marijuana within the Senate's premises. The principal counsel of the Office of Public Counsel for Victims is seeking more time to respond to the defense's request to disqualify Chief Prosecutor Karim Khan. In a filing dated August 15, Principal Counsel Paulina Masida argues that the Office of Public Counsel for Victims did not immediately have access to documents forming the basis of the request filed by former President Rodrigo Duterte's team. Masida notes that the International Criminal Court's Pre-Trial Chamber 1 granted the Office of Public Counsel for Victims access to the documents on August 11. She points out that they were notified of the defense's submission 5 days after it was filed. The Victims' Counsel cites the regulations of the court stating that 10 days are given to file a response. For the victims' benefit, the counsel is asking the chamber to adjust the 10-day time limit so that it starts from the date of notification. In its request to disqualify Khan from the case, Duterte's defense team said the chief prosecutor supposedly failed to disclose a conflict of interest. Duterte's counsel Nicholas Kaufman said Khan, in his capacity as a private lawyer for hire in 2018, represented victims of an alleged policy of extrajudicial drug-related killings in the Philippines. In May, Khan temporarily stepped aside from his post as the United Nations investigated sexual misconduct he allegedly committed.